I guess so. Good evening. My name is Eduardo Rangel. Every day was a normal day for a regular 15-year-old guy. I go to school, go home, do my homework somewhat, or I'd go out and hang out with friends or family. Then a big change happened in my life. I was at school heading into lunch when I got a message from one of my closest friends. The message read that a close friend of mine had passed away. My initial thought was that it had to be a joke. I couldn't come up with the reason why it would be a joke. I just didn't want to believe it at first. But then the more that I saw people sharing that he had passed, the more real it became. His death became a reality rather than a joke. It was essentially the first time that I had dealt with something like this. I've known people who had passed away before, but I didn't have a strong connection to them as I did with this friend. And as time went by, I built up a fear of meeting new people and them leaving or abandoning me. So I became isolated. It just felt natural. I didn't participate in class. I wouldn't go to any social gatherings that I was invited to. It was just me and my TV for a couple months. Then, after a while, I realized I needed to let myself come out and explore new possibilities. And it was great timing because a speaker from this program came to one of my classrooms and she shared her story. What she spoke about really inspired me. It motivated me to join. She mentioned parts of the program, like how much of a community it is and how it can help me grow as a person. So I joined. I went to a retreat, and after the retreat, I was matched with a mentor who also shared a similar experience to mine, which was perfect because having someone who knows what you're dealing with makes it just easier to talk to. And it was just something that I needed. And then after a while, the fear of that I built up has almost left. And I still don't know why to this day, my mentor also left. So I became isolated again. Even though I knew that new pathways hadn't disappeared on me because they kept reaching out, I just didn't answer the phone calls or respond to messages, or I'd respond late. I just felt alone. Then, out of the blue, my new Pathways program coordinator essentially showed up at my house. And she asked my sister if she could wake me up. She told me to get ready for a retreat, which was by far the most bizarre thing that had happened to me. But I do thank her for that, because without that, I wouldn't have met my new mentor, Eleni. Obviously, that fear of abandonment can still pop up, but with Eleni, I get the feeling she won't be like that. When I'm with her, I have a sense of relief. I'm not as scared anymore. And it took me a while to realize how committed she truly was. And it's kind of funny how I figured that out. It was a random day. We were heading to a workshop, and she would pop up, and she would start asking questions immediately, like how I've been, how's my family been, questions to make small talk. And as the car ride went home, she would continue asking questions. And then the thought would pop up, like, how can someone have so many questions? Especially if you've just met. Why does she care so much? And then it clicked. She just cares. We've just come to a point where we built a strong connection. Ever since then, I've essentially just shoot off those negative thoughts. With her, I realize I'm never truly alone. I mean, I live with 6 other people. I now go to school with a bunch of my other childhood friends, and obviously I have Eleni. I'm never alone, and I thank her for that. Yeah. I'm happy to present my mentor, Eleni. Thanks.
Okay. Wow. So I was working at Colorado State University in Fort Collins in the financial aid office for about 10 years, and I loved my job. I've worked in higher education my entire career and have always just loved helping other people pursue their dreams. It's just something that I've always been drawn to. Then my husband Sean gets a job offer in Phoenix. And truth be told, not super thrilled about it at that time. However, I thought we're empty nesters. Maybe this could be a new adventure, so why not? So made the big move. Little time passes, and I end up working at the University of Phoenix in a similar role, also as a finance manager, and I enjoyed that new challenge. About a year in, though, I realized I hadn't made a lot of friends, and I was missing some connections, and I was looking for something to fill that void, to fill a gap. And I have a tendency to not want to get out of my comfort zone unless I'm kind of pushed or nudged gently, perhaps. So I decided to look up some volunteer opportunities through work, and what did I find? New Pathways for Youth. And wow, I still remember how impressed I was with the program, the structure, the connection. I mean, just all of it. I got such a good vibe, like right away. I was in. Sign me up. I knew I wanted to be a volunteer and go forward with being a mentor. And little did I know at the time what a great fit that was going to be. So then I meet Eduardo at the 3-day retreat last November. The retreats where the youth and a mentor are matched up through that experience. And honestly, I thought Eduardo worked here. I thought that, right? I mean, he's so amazing. I thought he was employed here because we were sitting outside, having our breakfast, took our masks off, just for that, having our breakfast, and he was just so at ease. Like with everyone, with me, just seemed so comfortable. Had no idea that he was a 16-year-old participant in the program. I was just so impressed with the way that he just opened up to me right away. So I myself was not like that as a 16-year-old, and in fact, I was a little bit of a wild child. Yeah. I did not make the best decisions, did not hang out with a good crowd. The grades, not so wonderful either. Not making good decisions at all. And really, you'd think that I'd had all the things in my life that would have prevented that. I had both my parents, kind of that middle class upbringing. But I really, I started isolating myself because of that. And it was a painful time for me. And I could have used someone like a mentor or someone to give me some guidance at that time to make some better decisions. Because I sure wasn't going to tell my parents what I was up to. No. So we're sitting at the retreat, and Eduardo tells me that he'd actually had a previous mentor. And then he told me something that rocked me to my core. He told me that this person had abandoned him. Sorry, that was the word he used, was abandoned. And I remember at the time I've had two thoughts. What courage it took for him to share that with me. I mean, we had literally met like a few hours before that in the day. And secondly, I knew that I would never do that to him. Sorry. So, I myself don't open up easily to others, except for my dogs, my cat, and maybe my husband, well, depending on the day. But I knew with this commitment to Eduardo that I was going to have to go there. I was going to need to be vulnerable, and we were going to I was going to need to go to that place so we could be there. I could be there for him and make that connection with him and reach a level of comfort so we can explore his dreams and help him make the decisions to live into those dreams. That's something I just knew I was going to have to do. And I feel like we have reached that level of comfort. And I told Eduardo, yes, I ask all those questions, and I still do it because I do care. And I asked him if that still makes him uncomfortable, and he told me no, that it makes him feel cared for, which I love. So I thought that I had to have like a really cool skill to be a mentor, and that's just not the case. I don't have a cool skill. I am a very cool person though. But I don't have a cool skill. I'm not a good singer. I don't play an instrument. But what I do have, and what all of you have, is the ability to really be there for someone, right? Because we all need someone that we can trust our hearts with, that we can fill, that space of isolation sometimes, and just really be able to put ourselves out there and ask for help. And I have learned that from him. I have learned that from Eduardo, that it's worth it to put yourself out there. Because what we all have is the ability to be there for someone. And we can all be that person that someone trusts at New Pathways. Thanks.
Wow, there is so many of you here today. Thank you for being here. My name is Manny. I've been a youth in the program for 6 years, and about a year ago, I joined New Pathway staff and work part-time here. And here tonight, I'm going to read to you guys a small poem by Langston Hughes that is titled Dream. And it goes, "Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow." Thank you.
Well, who would have thought? After all we've been through in this world for the last year and a half, we would be here tonight in this incredible new facility, welcoming an incredible new president and CEO, and celebrating an incredible new role for our longtime leader, Christy. Who dares to dream like that? We do. And you do. Thank you. This is what happens when you choose to face the challenges of adversity with heart and the tools to move forward, to dare to dream. That's what we do at New Pathways. Good evening. My name is John Williams. I'm your new board chair. Perhaps like some of you, I really didn't face much adversity growing up. Adversity for me was not getting a car on Friday night to go out messing with my friends. My upbringing was unremarkable. I grew up in Madisonville, Kentucky, population 20,000. Not a lot of poverty. I never witnessed homelessness. You could probably say I was sheltered. And I had two amazing mentors, my parents. My mother was very outgoing, could walk into any room, no matter the circumstance, and always have the right words to say. Words that came from her heart. My father was a quiet man. He didn't talk a lot. But when he spoke, people stopped and they listened. He spoke with his quiet, humble confidence and wisdom. I learned from them not so much by what they said, but by how they lived. And they always let me know that I could dream, and that if I was willing to work hard, opportunity was mine. As I grew into adulthood, I began to realize just how fortunate I had been. And I also realized there were too many youth in this world that didn't have that guidance and the opportunities that I had. I first learned about New Pathways for Youth in 2007. At the time, it was called Phoenix Youth at Risk. I immediately knew it was special, different from all the other youth service organizations, but I couldn't verbalize it. I couldn't put it in words. Well, now, those words are crystal clear. New Pathways awakens youth facing adversity to their full human potential, guiding them as they discover renewed outlooks on life and realize unwritten possibilities for their future, just like all the opportunities that I had. Over time, I knew I had to be more involved, and in 2015, I was honored to be asked to join the board of directors by Christy. In July, when I began my term as board chair, I was nervous. No, I was scared. Not only was I following in the footsteps of some amazing leaders, we were in the process of interviewing and hiring a new CEO. We had several board members whose terms were ending, and we still had the uncertainties of this pandemic. And because of all that, the first meeting that I chaired had such a packed agenda, we had to add an extra half hour to the schedule, and I wasn't sure how popular that would be among my fellow board members. Challenges. Just like that first day at a new school, first day of college, first day at a new job. Those times when we learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable, just like we teach our youth. All of the youth that we serve have faced multiple adverse childhood experiences: poverty, homelessness, absent parents, death of a close family member or friend, physical, emotional, and even sexual abuse. At New Pathways, we show them there's a different way. We awaken them to their full human potential by helping them remove barriers, giving them tools and matching them with a caring, stable, empathetic adult to guide them on a different path. A path of overcoming the adversity and creating a life free from poverty. High school graduation, college, trade school, all these things become options because they work hard and they dare to dream. Better yet, they learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable to pursue those dreams. In April, I was fortunate to sit through one of our intensive retreats, like the one where Eleni and Eduardo were matched. The youth at that retreat, they blew me away. I observed them from Thursday evening through Sunday afternoon as they opened up, as they allowed themselves to be vulnerable, and as they realized that despite all the adversity they had faced, they were not alone. I got to spend time with them during meals and during breaks, and I was concerned that perhaps being someone who had not faced any of those adversities, I wouldn't be able to relate to them. But they opened up to me, and they accepted me as someone who was there for them. By the end of the weekend, I was physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted. But it was worth every bit of it. I got to see firsthand the intentionality and the effectiveness of our program. Over the last 18 months, we've done a lot at New Pathways for Youth. We opened this new facility, we've increased our cash reserves to the highest levels ever, and we close on a $5.7 million capital project. All of this while learning a new way to provide our services to our youth and to hold events and our workshops and retreats. Our breakfast in February was virtual. People from all over could join, even my family back in Kentucky. But during this time, we were reminded of the importance of relationships and being together. Our services to our youth and their families and our mentors became even more critical. Seeing the challenges that our youth faced and the way our staff stepped up and addressed those challenges reaffirmed the value of New Pathways for Youth. And here we are tonight with this amazing facility, with room for us to conduct our workshops, our retreats, events like this, and all with the appropriate safety protocols in place. Something we could never have done in our old facility. So yeah, we've done a lot. Are we done? Short answer, no. We are poised and ready to grow to double our impact in this community over the next 4 to 5 years. Our board of directors and staff are working hard to make sure we have the funding to support that growth. We're pursuing additional government funding. We're looking at earned income opportunities. But we will always need the support of our very generous donors and investors like you. We need your continued support, financially, by volunteering, by spreading the word in the community, because we know that with you, we've got this. Our return on investment is incredible. For $3,500, we can support a youth with life skills workshops, individualized case management, and a caring, stable adult mentor for a year. Now compare that to $85,000. If that same youth, without guidance, made some poor choices and ended up spending a year in prison. We support our youth in making positive decisions for their life and future. If you've been with us in the past, stay with us, help us, watch us grow. If you're new to New Pathways, join us on this journey as we grow to where we are serving 1,000 youth at a time. I know, and you know, how to dream. And I'm guessing there is someone in your life who enabled you to dream and to pursue your dreams. A parent, teacher, volunteer, maybe someone you never met or ever even heard about. There are so many youth in this valley that need that someone, so they too can dream and realize unwritten possibilities for their future. By supporting New Pathways in any way you can, you are that someone. And now, it is an honor and a pleasure to introduce someone who is no stranger to helping people become their best selves. Someone who the board of directors is confident will lead us in this period of growth with a passion for our mission and with grace. Our new president and CEO, Dr. Karen Johnson.
Well, 2020 was a year like no other. In March of that year, I had tickets to fly to Italy to meet my niece, who was doing a semester abroad. And shortly, of course, that trip was canceled. On the literal day of my birthday, the lockdown order went into effect. My birthday lunch was at Fuddruckers. It was the last place that was open before all the restaurants closed. We all knew what happened in the unprecedented times. We pivoted. We went virtual. We were so grateful if we were able to work from home and to maintain our livelihood. We prayed every night for the health of our family and ourselves. I was in the middle of my 26th year as a university executive, a very safe, comfortable job, a job I loved, a job I was really pretty good at. But as I looked at the heroes of the pandemic, the healthcare workers, the first responders, the frontline workers, I decided it was time for me to step up, that there was something more I could do. So I did what every logical person would do. I quit my job. I had the honor and privilege of serving and leading the boards of several other nonprofits here in the Valley, the UMOM board, the YWCA board, and I knew that work filled my heart. And I knew there were other organizations that could use the skills that I could bring. I had known about New Pathways for Youth. A friend of mine had served on your board. I had attended a breakfast. I cried along with everyone else at the breakfast and wrote my check. I got myself on the mailing list. I was able to follow the journey through your capital project, Christy's wonderful leadership throughout that time. I was impressed with the organization. So in the late spring, when I was finishing my time at Midwestern and up on my LinkedIn account, I saw the job position come available. I think I wrote the quickest cover letter in the history of job searches and pressed send within an hour to get my resume to the committee. And I was so excited when I was invited the next day to a Zoom interview. So I did what we all did. I put my closest jacket on over my shorts and my t-shirt, and I sat for the first Zoom interview with 4 happy faces on a screen, and we had an amazing conversation. And I remember at one point John said to me, "You've already answered the question I was just about to ask." We were in a pretty good sync. So I was super excited when I was invited to come down for my first in-person interview. So I put on an actual suit and drove downtown. And as I pulled into the lot, there was one other car, and I thought for sure I was being punked. But no, Heidi welcomed me in. Nicole brought me into the interview room. And 2 hours into my hour-and-a-half interview, I had to sneak out the back door to my car because the next candidate was waiting. We had a great conversation. when I was invited back for the next interview, I was feeling pretty comfortable. Not that I was going to get the job, but that I knew what the job was, that I had read everything, I had understood the mission of the organization, and the goals that they had put before the new CEO. I knew that my skill set in marketing, in fundraising, and most importantly in collaboration, in building relationships, I knew those would be helpful to the organization as it looked to its new era. So the second interview, again, was a great conversation. And at the end of the interview, I said to the committee, whether or not you pick me, I promise you I'm going to stay involved with New Pathways. It was the thrill of my life when Jenny called me the next day and offered me the position. And I hope I didn't scream too loudly, yes. It was a really easy negotiation, let me tell you. I was honored and thrilled. To be honest, the most difficult part of the process was the 2 weeks I had to wait before I could tell all my friends where I was going to work, because I was waiting for an official announcement. My first month at New Pathways has been an amazing time. I'm forever grateful to Christy. As you can imagine, with care and attention, she left me a 100-page document with about 50 links that provided everything I needed to know. And more importantly than that, she kindly and patiently answered every one of my 5,000 questions. I'm forever grateful for our friendship and for our time. And I'm especially grateful that Christy is staying with us to help build our faculty so that we can continue to grow our programs and to double our impact here in the Valley. I'm so grateful for the warm welcome I've received from the board, from all of the community partners. It's an honor to be able to see our staff every single day, the work that they do in caring for these young people, in supporting our mentors, in really living out the mission of the organization. And I've been so inspired by all the mentors I've met and the stories like Eduardo and Eleni that I've decided to be a mentor to. So I've volunteered for that. I'll be in your next class. A New Pathways is truly a dream come true for me. And I will be forever grateful for this journey and for the people that have helped me along the way, and for the great work we have yet to come. So, on behalf of New Pathways, I do have one piece of business for tonight, and that's to share with you that thanks to the generosity of one special investor, the first 25 new or renewed memberships to our Transformation Society tonight will be matched. For a total of $25,000. Imagine what an impact that will have on this entire Unstoppable team. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for being supportive of our mission to awaken the full potential of our youth. Thank you for being part of the New Pathways family.
Eleni once asked me what I dare to dream about. I had to think about that. With everything that had happened, I haven't even given any thought to what I dare to dream about. And I still don't. But I know New Pathways is a community that will help me reach my goals and dreams. They give people like us the ability to make those hopes and dreams alive. And I thank them for that. Yeah.